Now, Daniel Jones move aside, we said, look, we liked the Giants draft. We liked a lot of the things that they did, what they've brought in. And if you just look in isolation, they've done some nice things on the offensive line the last couple of years. They've done some nice things in the secondary, at least, throwing assets at it. And I think that will do them well in the long term in this rebuilding process now for the Giants.
They're interesting because I think that their ability to identify talent is good. So they find good players, I think, reasonably consistently, or as good as anybody in, the NFL. And it's like the strike rate generally for identifying talent is not good across, league-wide. Generally speaking, people aren't dramatically better or worse than anybody else, but everybody's bad in terms of your strike rate. But I think the Giants in that spectrum are as good as most people. It's just that they haven't worked out the value component of it. It's like, this guy's good, we'll draft him, even though, but he's good at a position that doesn't make a big impact, so that's not a good place to spend your assets. So the Jabril Peppers thing, I think, is a great example, right? In fact, both trades with Cleveland. In neither case did the Giants get demonstrably worse players than the ones they shipped out. But what you did is send away two of the most valuable positions in the game and acquire two of the least valuable positions.
Remind everybody what those were.
So there's picks and stuff involved, but essentially the players traveling either way is Odell Beckham leaves and Olivier Vernon leaves. So star wide receiver, star pass rusher, or at least primary pass rusher.
Top 20.
Right. Coming back the other way are Jabril Peppers, strong safety, and
Kevin Zeitler, guard. Yeah.
So,
and of course they got a first-round pick, which they used
exactly. So there's picks
Dexter Lawrence
as well. It's not like a straight thing, but the idea is the players you've targeted in these deals, you've got rid of the two of the most important positions, pass catcher and pass rusher, and you bring in a guy who really needs to play in the box as a strong safety and a guard. And those are essentially the two most replaceable positions in the NFL, bar maybe running back.
I will say, though, all that said, so those points are taken. We made those points back during free agency when those trades happened. The way they attacked the draft, though, going with 3 cornerbacks, using actual picks on 3 cornerbacks, getting Dexter Lawrence in the middle, who's not just a 2-down nose tackle. He, the expectation is he can rush the passer.
Well, he needs to be, because the numbers, the 2-down thing is now a misnomer, right? 2 down is now 1 down, maybe. Like the NFL average last year for base defense, which is what those 2-down players play on, whether it's a run-thumping linebacker, whether it's a nose tackle that leaves on 3rd downs, those guys are base defense average 25% league-wide.
Right.
And that's just of defensive snaps. So that's not even counting 4th downs that are mostly special teams plays. 25%. So at most, those 2-down players are a 1-down player, and it's really half a down now.
But so for a guy like him, it's can he rush the passer enough, and there's still value in stopping the run in those lighter boxes in the nickel set. The point is, yes, he needs to play a lot of snaps to justify the first-round pick, but the fact that they have maybe the worst edge rush situation in the NFL with guys like Kareem Martin. They did draft O'Shea and Zimenez from Old Dominion, undersized, some huge question marks. Guys like Avery Moss might be seeing snaps. I mean, they're just not really equipped off the edge. Lorenzo Carter, Marcus Golden was a pretty good, hey, let's see what he has left. I mean, but they are really Band-Aids left and right here is what they're using. The fact that they didn't go crazy, squeezing a guy in there, a Montez Sweat, whatever it was, right? And they did attack the secondary. This is something that we would probably get behind based off all our findings, say coverage over pass rush. So they'll be an interesting test case. Of course, a lot depends on how good DeAndre Baker is, the first-round corner, how good Julian Love is, a guy we had as a second-round type of corner. He got him in the 4th. Can Janoris Jenkins be a little bit better than he was the last couple of years? Jabril Peppers, is he used in the proper role?
Sam Beal,
supplement. So they got all these pieces, and interested to see how that all works out. And I think the Giants and the Ravens are kind of the two test cases where they've put resources in the secondary. The Ravens are more proven in the secondary. They have legit one of the best top 5s. But both teams, very limited pass rush options.
Yeah.
So I want to see how they make that work.
The Giants in particular, I think, are just a work in progress at the
True.
moment. Like I don't think, like you said, the 2011 season sort of put in people's heads, or not 2011, 2016 season put in people's heads that this team was a lot closer than it was.
Right.
And they're really in the midst of a massive rebuild, one that A, is going to be essentially determined by what happens at quarterback, whether they were right or not about Daniel Jones. But B, I mean, this entire roster essentially needs to be turned over, and they're just starting that process now.